Well, it's Sunday, fun day with still audio problem.
Woo!
No audio on the intro video. Okay. Before, if y'all don't mind, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to immediately test to see if that's the only issue that we're having. Guys, I want you out there to tell me if y'all can hear this, okay? All right, let's see.
It was just a few
It's
fellas,
Daddy
and let me tell
Dragon
you
at the
something. There was at least 1 million people there.
There's our lot over the other side there.
Okay, so y'all heard the audio on that video?
Loud and clear, 5x5. At least
Yeah,
on
it's
YouTube
got the
side.
delay. I'm just making sure. So loud and clear. So the video is what you heard though. Okay. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure it was the video because then it's got to be something to do with the program that runs the introduction or something. So listen, that's refreshing. If y'all can hear still the audio, I'm sure now that at least that's fixed. Well, Sunny can still do her thing, and I don't know. It's just strange. I don't know. Anyway, all right. How's everybody doing? Sorry. Thanks for the patience. Yeah, just okay. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Spectre.
Hello, everybody. Hello. It's Sunday. Happy Memorial Day weekend, long weekend here in these United States. For those across the pond, that used to be called, what was it, Decoration Day? Back when it first became a proclamation and put on the old calendar. So this, for those that don't know, here in the United States, this is kind of the unofficial start of the summer season here.
Sometimes I think, listen, I don't want to say they're like useless facts because it's interesting to know that you know them, but I don't know many people that would like whip it out of their hat. They're like, wasn't it used? Didn't it used to be called this day? You know, and I'm just like, oh, I've never heard that before in my life. So,
Wow.
good on you.
Maybe you need to brush up on history.
I heard someone else say that. And it's interesting because, like growing up, my mom always made a big deal of taking wreaths to the, cemetery and putting them on. And to me, I just equated that with Decoration Day because, all the decorations came out for Memorial Day. And, as I've gotten older, I realized, Memorial Day is to honor the fallen soldiers and vets and things more so than just relatives. But
yeah, I think for what it's worth, and I don't want to sound too militaristic, but it's almost like Memorial Day has kind of become synonymous with Veterans Day, and they're two mutually exclusive things. But I think we tend to assume both holidays, we kind of do the same thing, if you will, from, giving respects to those that serve, have served, are serving, etc. But again, they have distinct histories as to why they were added to the calendar, et cetera, as I described. But again, just some interesting note to those across the pond that don't know that that's why we've got a good 3-day weekend. The markets will be closed tomorrow, and you'll hear people having barbecues, cookouts, everything else. And hey, by the way, most of the country, I think, at this point is going maskless. We're crawling out from under some of the tyranny here in Illinois, finally, and seeing some of the revocations by various corporations and that who have previously had masks instituted. So, hooray!
I saw this little sign on Twitter and it says Armed Forces Day is for those still in uniform, Veterans Day is for those who hung up their uniform, and Memorial Day is for those who never made it out of their uniform. I thought that was neat. Kind of sums it up.
Yeah, well, and speaking of that, I'm going to continue to kind of play what I'd started just to test the audio with Daddy's video from earlier. So hopefully Daddy would pop in today and make it, but from this freedom rally. So I want to kind of play at least little bit of that because I know there may be some people out there that are curious.
How many of you guys from across the pond that are joining us here today? How many of you guys made it out to the Freedom Rally yesterday? If you were close by, put one in chat if you were able to make it to the rally, and maybe put a little commentary as to how big a crowd it was.
Hi, Dee Dee.
Well, or I can just ask Dee Dee.
I was about to just show your video. They were just, I literally have it pulled up. I was like, I hope you make it. So there you go.
Well, let me put my hearing aids in and I'll be able to hear you properly. Hang on a minute, stay there.
Oh, good. Well,
So the direct answer to this, and the reason why I'm late, by the way, is because I'm editing that about 4 hours worth of video that I've got and tried to get it down to literally about an hour. So it's under 15 gig, and I'm putting it on Rumble because I know Rumble won't take it down. And you can see the American flags with us. Let me just say this to you. There's a newspaper in England, or actually Britain, because it's all over the place. It's one of the most disgusting working class newspapers there is. And why I say that is because the working class buy it. They have got in that paper that was a few hundred people attended, right? I can tell you, I walked for a few hundred, right? So that could be anything. That's what they said, right? I can tell you there was over 1 million people there because I was there and I walked for the best part of 5 hours. And I can tell you now, everywhere where we went, it was absolutely mobbed. It was packed all the way through. And that amount of people anywhere, there was, I think, 3 police helicopters up, which meant that they had to cover a vast area of London. And I can tell you now, from what I saw, there was no violence, no nastiness. But I'm going to show you an image if you want, just one image. And I'll probably go back and show you a few others.
I'll say, Dee Dee, it looks like you might have got a little sun yesterday. You got a little bit of a pinkish hue about you today.
Oh, let me tell you something, right? It was absolutely boring, boiling hot. Well, it was for me anyway, bearing in mind how much overweight I am, right? But we had to walking for 5 hours solid, right? Let me tell you something. I was sunburned. When I finally got into the pub that evening, I got 2 white lines down by my glasses. By the time I drove home and got out of my car, I couldn't even get out of my car. My legs felt like they had to be reprogrammed to tell them which one goes in front of what to get, and then getting up my stairs was a nightmare as well. So yeah, it was a proper bit of exercise. But what you're seeing on your screen now is a Metropolitan Police officer sitting on his motorcycle right bang in the middle of the petition demonstration. As you can see, that people joyfully brought the police officer into the equation on that one. So it is actually quite a funny one, if you can see that.
Is this the Great Reset, huh? Is that what the stickers they were plastering all over everything?
Oh, well, let me tell you something. I'm going to show you something else because I could not stop laughing when I see this, and I actually walked past the bus on this one, right? But let me just say,
it kind of looked like a smile on that cop's face.
No, he is actually smiling, but there's not a lot I can do, really, is there?
He's on a motorbike.
He's on a motorcycle, but unfortunately, if I can find you this other person, which I'm going to do now, there is another guy, and just to let you know, and I'll bring it up on my screen, hopefully, and then you'll see it again. But I'm doing a video as we speak, and the video is uploading to Rumble. So once it's uploaded, you'll be able to see more and more of it. But there's a London bus.
How does the driver see out of his windshield?
Oh, well, now I'm going to show you the driver, which is the driver. Basically, he said the same thing. I don't think I can drive this bus anymore. It's not in a fit state. So the said bus ended up staying there. But when I say to you, this bus got completely plastered in these stickers. Well, I can tell you now, even if you counted the stickers, there's more than a few hundred people, and individually they've stuck them stickers all over that bus, right? I see many buses just stop, pull up, drivers out because they couldn't go anywhere. When we walked up Oxford Street, the whole of Oxford Street, going all the way back, was completely mobbed from side to side. Like I say, there was easy over 1 million people there. The only time, and I've got to tell the American people this because you're going to love this. If I can actually, I've got some pictures, one particular picture I'm going to show you. So let me stop that share a sec and I'll go back to this because it's really important that you see it. We seem to upset for some reason, or Mr. Gobby did. We're trying to find a nickname for him. It's either Mr. Gobby or Mr. Rant. But I'm going to show you another picture of this person. Hopefully, you will see this throughout. There it is. Is that the best picture? Let's see if I can bring it up. No, that's not the best one because it's not showing you the picture. Let me see if I can bring up some of these pictures. So you will see. Obviously, we've got a load of American flags here, or we've got American flags with us, and people was asking us. And by the way, I'm just going to bring you up a quick picture here, and then we'll go through it. But let me share it. So what you should be seeing, and you're not. What is that? Don't know. Let me have
uploading.
Hang on 2 seconds. Let me see if I can share it.
Well, while you're doing that, Daddy, I'm going to show this short one that Maria sent me. Or never mind.
Well, hang on. Let me just. So anyway, here is Mr. Gobby's son, I believe, or Mr. Rant's son, and he's obviously wearing these. He's now a mascot, and he's wearing the mega hat. But as you go through this, what you should see, touch wood. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can find it again. Let's go back into him. You will see the Trump flag. This is our friend here, Mr. Gobby, and you can see the police basically not really interested in interfering with us too much. We've got the US flag out with us, the Trump flag out with us, and we're all going across there. Now, loads of people was coming up to us and said to us, what is the significance of the American flag with the English flag? So we was explaining to them, it's quite simple. And again, I had a long conversation, or a fairly long conversation, with a Texas guy on the phone, and he said, I don't understand the difference between the British and the English. And I said, well, it's the English that give you your constitution in America. And as a Texan, you should know that you adopted in its entirety, your state constitution is almost entirely English. And he said, is that why we call our courts magistrates? I said, yeah, because to love England is to love Texas, and to love Texas is to love England. Then we had a conversation about secession. I said, I'll give you an example. Texas could leave the Union and stand on its own as its own nation if it needed to, right? Well, it's the same as England. England don't need anybody else, right? And what we've got is a supra state in effect. So again, you can see this. You've got the Magna Carta rules, the Magna rules, and etc. You've got where we go one, we go all, as you can all see right in the middle there. And then you've got some other bits. And again, that beautiful freedom flag, which is the American flag, obviously in the background. You've got the Trump. So let me just say this to you. And I'm just flicking through this so you can see what's going on here. And there is more of this. And again, the whole thing I've actually sorted out there. So what part of the thing that you will see that we was carrying these banners, Magna Carta 1297, the 1215 Magna Carta is still in full force anyway. It is out of the jurisdiction of any parliament. And there it is there. That's what we walked around with. We had 5 of them. We took 3 of them back to the car, and we just used the 2, what we describe as the most important ones for this freedom rally, which is the Magna Carta 1297 and the Bill of Rights. Now, just to let everybody know, the Trump flag, loads and loads of people was coming up to Brett, standing back and taking photos, victory signs, and "We love Trump" in front of that flag. Not just a few, loads of people. And people don't realise how much support there is for President Trump in England, right? People who understand and know do absolutely get it. So what happened when we was on the walk or on the march, in an opposite direction come about 200 or 300 Palestinians demanding the rights and whatever going on for Palestine. They started to be very aggressive towards Brett and started booing him, hissing him, being very aggressive towards him because he was carrying the Trump flag, right? Brett being Brett, weren't having none of it, and he didn't care if there was 300 of them or not. And what he basically said to them was, "I hope you're all noticing that what's going on now in Palestine," and he actually believes that it is Palestine. So you're actually attacking people that are defending Palestine. I, for example, defend Palestine, right? Not that I've got an issue with Jews. I just believe the British created the problem, and now you've got that issue in the Middle East, right? Now, let me just say this to you. Them people was attacking, and what Brett kept saying to them was, you'll notice saying all the time that President Trump was in office, they weren't firing missiles at each other. And there's a reason that he's now out of office and you're firing missiles at each other. So for you to have a go at Mr. Trump, President Trump, or whatever you want to call him, and then start having a pop at people carrying that flag, he was the reason why no one died over there under them circumstances, because he was keeping it at bay and actually negotiating with people with common sense principles, saying, stop this, stop that. Right. So that said, again, like I say, there is a video coming up, and I've got the video on here. Oh, the problem is when I try and play it, it goes a bit funny on the sound. But I've condensed it from, I think, 3.5 hours of actual footage down to an hour. You'll see us at Trafalgar Square. You'll see people coming up to us, and again, the American flag, the Magna Carta, at Trafalgar Square, people coming up to us and saying and taking photos of these banners. I was interviewed by 2 foreign sets of journalists or journalist crews, video links, one going out to Japan. I can't remember where the other one was going. And they was asking us about the Magna Carta and the freedom and what we're standing for. And that's what we was telling them. And then we was also talking about United States of America, saying that America in reality is the big brother of England. Forget the British. The British are the ones who are the problem. And at the end of this video, it explains that. But that's it, basically. I have got video clips. I'll play them whenever you're ready to just show some of them clips. And you will see how many English flags were there. It was fantastic.
I'm just going to show this one really quick. I'm trying to show that Maria sent me. So here this one is that she sent me earlier, or yesterday, I believe. Was it today? This morning, sometime.
Seriously downplayed if they even bothered to speak about it. Various media outlets, as you know, claimed there was hundreds in attendance, but that is some serious bullshit, because anyone looking at the videos can see there's a fuck ton of people there. I obviously don't know how many for sure, and let's be honest, no one does, but hundreds is just bollocks at the end of the day, and the media running damage control to keep the sheeple in line, if you ask me. Obviously, the media smeared them with the usual bullshit we always see, but that makes very little difference in all honesty. People went out there and stood for what they believed in at the end of the day. The media believe in whatever agenda is belt-fed to them like a dick by the highest bidder. At the end of the day, they have the credibility of Jimmy Savile in my mind, and I would suggest that most people actually feel the same. In my mind, these protests need to be weekly or even daily and should all just stand outside Downing Street until the media are forced to report on it. You know, the untold thousands of people there telling the government what they think as per their rights, while they still have them at least. Of course, though, Twitter and other social media sites are full of idiots claiming the protesters shouldn't be doing this and that because we'll be back to normal in 3 weeks, which is of course wrong and is going to rage like milk. We won't be back to anything like normal in 3 weeks. We will be lucky if we're back to normal in 3 years at this rate, if we ever are, let's be honest. The media, though, have once again shown themselves to be the bullshit as we know they are, because the press coverage given to protest aligned with their agenda is actually insane. But when it comes to protests they don't agree with, it's radio silence or the usual smear jobs that we've seen here. At this point, never mind defund the BBC, we need to defund the entire media shit show if you ask me. But as it stands, that is all I have for you on this one. Like I said, it's just a short one. I'm not sure there's much more I can actually add to it at this point. We know the media are scum, and if this video allows even one person to see what a bunch of cunts the media are and the fact they're lying to them, then I guess it's job done. Now, guys, before I go, remember to check out my website.
There you go. She said it was full of a bunch of cursing, but I don't expect
You certainly got some cursing there.
Thanks,
so
Maria.
there's lots of them little ones out there that little videos showing certain things, but I do want to say this to people. Yeah, there is an agenda, and the agenda is the people who own the mainstream media. Their agenda is to take your rights. The propaganda that they're putting out there is what's taking your rights. Over 1 million people took to the streets yesterday. There is another event coming up, and I'm actually trying to communicate with someone who, I wouldn't say is organising it, but a number of people have suggested it. There are no leaderships of this, but we intend to take our banners to Parliament Square. I believe it's on the 14th of June, and that's on a work day on Monday. When you're walking around 1 million of you, what you need to do really is when they're debating these freedoms on the 14th of June, that Monday, we need to be standing on Parliament Square with our banners explaining to people exactly what's going on. So just to let you know, if anyone's interested in that and can help us out, because we need people to hold the banners for us, and then we will be handing out leaflets and telling people what the British are doing. But let me just say this to people. It was fantastic, and I'm proud of everyone that actually went there. That's it. Over and out.
Awesome. Well, next up, I'm going to show a little bit of clip of Daddy Dragon's video he produced 7 hours ago, because I have it. This is what I was going to show, and I didn't know if he was going to show up or not. So I don't know if this is part of what you was going to show. This is part of your video from earlier today. Say there's probably more than a couple hundred people that showed up.
Oh, well, let me tell you something. Like I say, that went for on forever.
Yeah, I was trying to get to this one part because you said you had some stuff you want to show. I wouldn't take up too much time, but here's where you show this. Hang on, I'll show this. He shows the Magna Carta and the Bill of Rights, and then talking about all the flags. There's like all the flags kind of in this one frame. It's pretty good.
There you can see the Bill of Rights.
So there's some of your, weirdly enough, probably strange for you to see some of your video from earlier. There you go. You're muted. Unmute.
Boy. I am muted. Right, I have to be careful with this. So I've got images like this on the video that I'm uploading with the soundtrack. I'm putting it on Rumble. If I put it on YouTube, or we put it on YouTube, it'll probably get taken down because there's some reggae on it, Bob Marley. But what I'm going to do is turn the sound off on this, and I'll show you another one, which is this one. So I'll turn the sound off, and you'll be able to see it. Let me make sure the sound is off.
Yeah, music is the number one thing as far as just the YouTube streaming platform that they will hit you quick. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, so hopefully this hasn't got any sound on it, and you should be seeing it. This is some drone footage of the supposed few hundred people. So obviously, I'll just be talking you through it rather than hopefully you can see these images. There's clearer images as well, but this is all literally from yesterday, and you can see clearly from the drone images, and they're all up there for freedom. They're all up there, and again, this has got a Bob Marley. If it's the one I'm thinking of, and there's more than one of these, it's got the Bob Marley track on there. You can see the English flags rolling. In the video that I'm uploading, you can see all this with it and everyone talking. And again, you've got the English flags and the regal flags there. So, yeah, thank you to Paja for sending me that. And while you're on here, Paja, if you're looking at me, I need a particular little bit of a video done showing the supranational states of the USSR, of Yugoslavia, of the European Union, and then I need people to understand that the British are a supranational state that was the seed for all the others, and we need to take it down. And then England, Wales, and Scotland will go back to being the nations, the great nations that they all are, without the evil people in the background trying to destroy all our rights. And again, on that video, everything's going to be uploaded and you'll see what I'm talking about. So again, you can see from that image clearly, you can see from that image clearly what was on there. And there's another one on there, which I'm going to show this while we're on here, because this is really important. We're going to do this again with all the English flags. Do not bring. We done yesterday. We done what's known as a flag swap out, right? So people was giving us this nasty flag here. Yes, this nasty one. I'm not going to show it because it burns my fingers, right? And what we've got in here was we were swapping that particular flag for this absolutely honourable flag that gave the Magna Carta to the world, the first human rights charter. There it is, and we was doing a flag swap, and we had a couple of people come over and done the flag swap with us. So people are really getting the message now, and you're seeing more and more that people are understanding that it was the English that first gave a human rights charter to the world in 1215. And it's the Americans that pay for the monument at Runnymede. It's the actual American Bar Association that pay for that, and they've got a 999-year lease on it. And then don't forget, you've also got a piece of Runnymede that was given to the American people as sovereign territory to the American federal government, right? So remember that piece of England, Runnymede, and the importance of the Magna Carta is enshrined in that area. So literally the day after the 14th was when the Magna Carta was signed, June the 15th, 1215. The day before, we've got this event in London, and we want to go to Parliament Square, and we want to tell them people when they're debating so-called our freedom and our rights that they have there is absolutely no authority that they have got to take English rights, Welsh rights, or Scottish rights, and someone needs to tell, and we're about to do it, the British where to get off. So there it is on your screen, hopefully. I'm just about to share it on the screen with you. Touch wood, you can see it. And there it actually is. Let me just bring that up again. Monday, the 14th of June, Judgment Day. Join us outside Downing Street. Make them hear us. We are the resistance. And that's exactly what we are. And we will be there with our banners, with the Magna Carta, with the Bill of Rights, all English. All of this is English. Nothing to do with the British. The British do not have a constitution. They never have had. Right? All the British want to do is to make their supranational state larger. They are responsible for globalism as we know it. It's called imperialism. It's called colonization, whatever you want to refer to it as. But people out there need to understand it is the English that have given you your rights. Don't allow the British to destroy England. We do not want regionalisation. We want our country back. We want our counties back. We want every element of our history put back on the books in schools and educate people that it was the English that stopped slavery, right? And then once we get this message out to them people, they'll understand that freedom is fought for and we have to keep fighting for it, just like the Americans have. And the reason why America is the land of the free is because they adopted virtually every right that was given to them by the English and fought for it when the British tried to take it off them in 1776. Remember that. That's it. There it is. Monday, the 14th of June, Judgment Day. Join us outside Downing Street. Make them hear us. We are the resistance. And we are the resistance. And the biggest part of that resistance is the English understanding who they are, what they were, and what we're going to be in the future. That's it. Hello. Did I kill the show? It's gone dead.
Breaking, Laura, are you here?
I think they've left us. I think
Oh yeah, I mean, I was sorry. I was up, got up and started making coffee. I was like, he's going to go and go. And so it's like, I will.
No.
I was just in there with my Keurig. I could hear you though. Then my dad brought over supper and all that.
Well,
but I wanted you to kind of get all that out. I don't know what happened to Breaking Spectre.
Calling
breaking. There. Look, oh my God, Dave. He's in here acting like a complete goofball before we go live on air, saying things, everything from cats, fur balls to I don't know what. Now he's the one that wanted to ask you questions, Daddy. Go ahead, Breaking. I know you've been paying attention. Got the last word said. Go for it.
Oh, I got out my piece earlier.
Oh, Daddy's like, well, damn. All right, well.
Hang on.
There's that.
Okay, back. So
you're so low, Daddy. Turn yourself up a little bit.
Am I low still?
Well, you weren't a while ago, but now all of a sudden you were low. I couldn't hardly hear you.
Well, that is weird. I think there's something going on with me, with whatever it is. Hang on a minute. Let me kick out of this one. It might be because I've started playing the sound or playing something through there. So if I've gone all loud again, gone all weak need again, it's probably that. Let me have a look. So I'm now at 53% uploading. It's taking its time because it's a 14 gigabyte file, but it basically tells people on there what the English are about. So I'm seeing some really great stuff on there. And there's loads of people now sending me online all this stuff. So just remember the 14th because we need a lot of help and we need everyone with the flags. I'm going to bring these other flags. Bring your flag poles. Bring yourselves. Help us stand there with the banners. And I'm also going to create online. I'm hoping you can all hear me still, whether you can hear me or not.
We can. Trust me, I'd interrupt you and tell you to turn it up. I wouldn't let you waste your breath.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So what we're doing on the 14th is literally just showing people what the English stood for and what we stand for today and what we're going to give to our future generations. And we do not intend to be the generation that give up on freedom, right? You've got to take it back. And the British are the problem. The British are a supernatural state. They are a political union. We already had a union of the crowns in 1603. So it's nothing to do with it's nothing to do with the Queen. It's nothing to do with a monarchy. This is pure and simply, that element was brought in because Scotland bankrupted itself trying to conquer South America, failed. Didn't have any dough left, was just about to go pear-shaped, literally, belly up, whatever you want to call it. And unfortunately, the English allowed, and so did the Scottish people, allowed this political union to take place. And it is no different to the USSR. It is no different to the European Union superstate. And it is no different to Yugoslavia. And they all end in tears and violence 9 out of 10 times. We don't want that to happen. The people need to take to the streets and the people need to voice and start talking about England in its reality, right? And the reality is we have existed since 927. No one's taken us down and we've still got plenty more rights to give to people. We've still got plenty more that we want to do in perfect alignment once we have taken down the British with our American brothers and sisters who are, the land of the free and the land of the brave. Without them now, this world would be completely encapsulated by tyranny. That is a fact. It is not fiction. And we need, as England, need to take our rights back and then continue the process of freeing these people all around the world. Over.
Well, yeah, there you go. I mean, that's a good point. Everybody's going to have to eventually. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens here in America. I'm telling you, I think a lot of people write a lot of. I personally do. I'll speak for myself. What's happening with this these audits in this election, because them overtly stealing an election and nothing being done about it, that should worry a lot of people. If they can at least expose the fraud, then we have a fighting chance of having a legitimate election again. But all these platforms, by the way, that shut all these people down for talking about the Wuhan lab and coronavirus, and everybody in this room, I'm sure at some point, and a lot of people we know on these platforms were talking about it for a year and a half, talking about there's that level 4 lab in Wuhan that the largest one that studies SARS, COVID, trying to transfer it to humans with gain of function, et cetera. So there's the wet market that they accused of selling the bat, that didn't sell the bat. And so now, a year and a half later, now Facebook is deciding that they're not going to ban people for talking about the possibilities of it originating from that lab. A year and a half later, after banning people, removing people, same thing on this platform, that they cited people for medical misinformation, demonetized them, stuff like that. It's the very thing a year and a half later now that everybody else is coming out saying, well, we need to look into it. So, like I'm arguing with somebody on Twitter right now that says he said something really ugly about people that haven't been vaxxed. And I brought up about the autism and the link, and I said people still go around and say there's no link to it, even though we have they've paid out awards, compensation awards for that very reason. And he's like, no, the study's so flawed. And I literally had to send him the article from 11 years ago where they paid that family $1.5 million. But people are, so it's either either people got to wake up or we got to push back against the system that's corrupt and the media that does not tell you the truth. But if you look around, look how many people actually watching the mainstream media. That's why they're all sitting up there pissed off, chewing all their nails off because they can't figure out how somebody on YouTube can get more views than they can. And they have producers and $1 million budgets and, showrunners and cameras worth tens of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Well, just to let you know, right? There's a book, and bearing in mind the American tort legal system came from the English tort legal system, and there is the tort law, right? So this is valid. This was a 2018, 2019 book. To the person on Twitter, I doubt if he or she is even listening, but at page 864, chapter 32, loss and confiscation schemes, and it says, C, vaccine damage schemes. Many vaccines that are routinely administered have a small risk of very serious adverse consequences. The Vaccine Damage Payments Act 1979 set up a scheme under which people have been left severely disabled by vaccination are awarded a lump sum, currently £120,000. This is clearly far less than such a child might expect to be awarded if the disability was caused by a tort. But an award does not preclude a tort claim. So this is what you're not being told. The scheme is funded by the state from general revenue and administered by the Department for Work and Pensions. The justification for such a scheme was explained by the Pearson Commission. There is a special case for paying compensation for vaccine damage where vaccination is recommended by a public authority and is undertaken to protect the community. The United Kingdom scheme is far less generous than the scheme operating in the United States. In the United States, the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986 established a federal no-fault scheme to compensate those injured by certain listed childhood vaccines, where administered in private or public sector, and it goes on. I won't go through the rest of it, but what I will tell you is that wouldn't be in this tort law, right, book, English law and American law, unless there wasn't a problem with vaccination, and especially when the vaccinations have not been tested and we are the guinea pigs. And let me just say this, people, under English law currently and laws around many states, other states around the world, guinea pigs have actually got more rights than what we have, because you wouldn't be giving guinea pigs any form of vaccination unless it had been thoroughly tested by veterinary science. It has not. This vaccination is unlawful, right? We are being used and experimented against. And let me just say this to people. You haven't seen the consequence of this yet. But there are some of us who are going to survive this, and we're going to survive as long as we don't have blood transfusions, because blood transfusions are going to transfer that vaccination to you, right? That's where it alters your DNA. That's where it causes the problems. And let me tell you something, if we don't stand up now, you're going to lose every right that you ever had. So again, thank you for going on Twitter and saying that, Laura. But there's a book that actually describes the law of tort, and that it's far more powerful as a law of tort, meaning common law is far more powerful than statutes and statutory compensation. And that's what the book says. So I'm not lying. Laura's not lying. We're not lying. We're telling you the truth. I'm reading you the law from the latest book that's been published. That's it.
Yeah, I just got a book. I've got so many books. I don't even know what to do. I have so many I need to read. I mean, if the apocalypse hit right now, I hope people appreciate the level of hopefully entertainment or disgust I give them if they find my stash. Because I have everything from the one that Daddy Dragon has recommended to me, that Easy Meat one. It's not for everyone, but if you want to know what's going on behind the scenes there that the media hides in England, then I would suggest you get that book, but you better have a strong stomach, because that's what I get into. I want to know the stuff that they're not talking about. Then last night I got the book, Feeding the Dragon, that film producer that was over in China that was helping produce the Iron Man 3, and talking about the Chinese government and the CCP has invaded, our media, which we all know, but I still enjoy listening to it from somebody that actually has done the work. Not because I don't trust the media at all. I don't trust someone to tell me the story. Like, I'd rather Daddy Dragon tell me what's going on over at a rally he's been to than trust the media, right? I'd rather hear Breaking telling what's going on with Illinois. And I listen, I just enjoy what Sunny does because she gives everybody a daggum break from, the monotony. But so I trust that man more. He was over there. What was it? He said in the very beginning of the book, and I'm probably going to massacre this because I cannot remember exactly. This was one example. He said that our EPA over here in America, there's the parts per million of the smog in the air, the pollutants in the air. They say here in America, if it gets over 50 parts per million, it's considered, like you should stay in. At the very highest 100, right? It gets 100, then they don't want you going outside. So they called in because there's such a smog that sits into China. Nobody ever talks about the pollution that these Asian countries shovel out to the atmosphere, but AOC and all them, what are they going to do about that shit? China ain't going to change. So they call down because they're about to have this thing with Robert Downey Jr. on the red carpet to get the air quality. And he gets to look back, and the air quality was 600 parts per million. And that was the beginning of the day. It was only going to rise throughout the day. Just for all you how dare yous Greta Thunbergs out there. That's how much they give a crap about their people. But it's just an example of why the things we don't hear about, the way that the media manipulates things. They want to scare you to death over here in America that some coal plant might toxify the air, but there's places over in India you can walk across the trash in the rivers. We got China and Japan and all these with these massive tankers out here in the ocean, just scraping the ocean floor and getting every kind of sea creature you could possibly imagine. We got people in America worried about a sea turtle having a straw up its nose. They're literally taking everything they can out of the ocean to go eat it over there. So just be cautious, like that, like Daddy said, like he put up that book. I highly encourage all you to find someone that knows what they're talking about and listen to them. I'm literally in the process while Daddy was talking, trying to find a couple articles to send to some idiot on Twitter that is into some debate with me about autism and vaccines. That is how strong the media works. A whistleblower from the CDC. We're not talking some lackey. We're talking about like an executive there. Came out years ago. 10, 11 years ago. Well, it was maybe 2014. So almost 10 years ago, with talking about how they destroyed evidence, produced the documents, told the guy which papers to file for in the Freedom of Information Act that proves that they manipulated the numbers. This is stuff you can easily find. And I have an idiot and over there, like people will still send me Snopes all the time. People don't realize that Snopes was created by a married couple that didn't know what the hell they were doing. The minute they started making any money, these two went through a divorce, and Kat fought worse than anybody in the world. These two were doing it out of their basement. They're just as qualified to fact check information as Adam Schiff is or Nancy Pelosi. They're not some kind of experts. They're two people that are biased in deciding what they think is true or not. They don't. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's it. I'm gonna shut up. it starts to get under my skin because, like right now, I'm in this. I cannot stand it when people, especially when it comes to kids. Breaking. Remember that video you sent me? Y'all talked about. I don't know. I'll probably get taken down off YouTube or whatever. There's a lady that called a pharmacy just to completely spin this on its head. I showed y'all the video where they pulled the insert out with the Pfizer vaccine and the whole insert was blank. Where she was on, she did a video the other day where she called the pharmacist in Georgia, and he basically told her he had no idea what was in it. She said, "Well, how young can you be to get the vaccine?" He said, 12. So 12-year-olds. But forget all the trials, forget all the tests. It's fine. It's fine. Bring your 12-year-old in. Just come on in. Just disgusting. But yeah, that's my deal with that crap. I feel weird. I'm left out here hanging by myself.
I saw that video too, Soko, that gal that calls in the pharmacist, and she's like, "Do you sleep at night?" And he goes, "I sleep like a baby." She goes, "Are you going to keep giving it? You can't even tell me what's in it." And he goes, "Of course I am. It came down from corporate. I got to do what they say."
Yeah, here's the one I'm talking about, and I'd be damned if y'all damn hit me over this freaking video. I'm gonna be pissed, bigger than shit. I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna say this again. For a year and a half, we were screaming from the rooftops about the lab in Wuhan being a level 4, where they're there studying gain of function. They were intentionally trying to figure out how to get coronavirus infectable to humans. Then we have U.S. intel papers now that have 3 scientists that were up in the hospital in November. We all have been saying this for a year and a half, and yet we were ridiculed and cut down and laughed at and took offline. And now I've done the same thing with these women. These women that are coming out and talking about they're having issues with their menstrual cycles, being postmenopausal and starting to bleed again, shedding their entire uterine lining, the rashes that make your skin crawl that these people are getting. These are not fake stories. It stops being anecdotal when you start to have thousands, not dozens, but thousands of the people saying the same thing. So let people talk about it. You're wrong. We're right. I'm going to share this one now. Good. It pisses me off. Okay, hang on.
Pharmacy, is it John, the pharmacist? How can I help you?
Hi, John. I just had a couple questions for you. Are you guys offering vaccines?
We do have vaccine in stock, yes.
Okay, and then how old do you have to be to get that? Are you giving them to kids as well?
The minimum age for vaccines in the state of Georgia for the Pfizer is 12.
12, so 12 and above.
I don't know what's in any of these vaccines because there's no data available on these vaccines when they come to the pharmacy.
There's no data available on the vaccines when they come to the pharmacy?
No, ma'am. The prescription information that they give in the box of the vaccine says left intentionally blank.
I'm trying to make sense of that.
We have 2 since January.
I don't understand how there's 12-year-olds getting injections with no data on what you're injecting into them.
That's up to the parents of the 12-year-old who want to give the vaccine or want to get the vaccine to their child.
But what about the pharmacists administering them?
What about us?
Doesn't that make you feel guilty?
Are you trying to guilt me into giving vaccines? If someone wants a vaccine, I'll gladly give it. If they don't want it, that's on them.
You'll gladly give a vaccine to substance that you don't know is in the vaccine to a child?
That's what I've been told to do by corporate. Is there a reason you're asking me these questions?
Absolutely.
Do you want to sign up to get a vaccine, or are you just
no?
See if we have them?
You're a pharmacist, and I just wanted to ask you questions as you're supposed to be the professional in this area. No.
Okay. Well, I feel kind of attacked on this one, but
you know how I feel attacked? I feel like,
and we don't know what's in these vaccines.
But you go to sleep at night.
Since January because it's my corporate mandate to do so.
So it's okay with you. You sleep at night knowing you injected a child with something you don't know what's in it.
Absolutely, sleep like a baby.
There you go, sleeps like a baby. And I'll tell you, the condescending victim shit really gets under my skin. When she said to him, and he even said to her, we haven't known, we've been trying to figure that out since January, when she said that they didn't know what was in it. If a pharmacist is telling you they've been trying to figure out why they can't get information on it since January and they're not sent, I mean, those inserts, you get them every time you get a prescription filled here in America. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That massive thing of papers that comes with your medications that has to list everything. It's a liability for the pharmacist. So that way, if you have one of these, you knowingly still took it. That scrapes any liability from them. And trust me, they're worried about their dollars, their wallets. But for him to say to her in one breath that he's like, oh, yeah, we don't know. We've been trying to figure that out since January. And then when she pushes back and says, aren't you concerned that you're giving this to kids and you don't even know what's in it? He's like, nope. If they want it, I'll give it to them. If they don't, I don't. I feel a little attacked here. A little attacked. Really? So who else are people supposed to call to try and figure out what's in it? I'll tell you something else. This is concerning. There's a litany of things that you're not supposed to, you're warned and cautioned against taking it if you have like a history of, say, blood clots, blood disorders, autoimmune deficiency, stuff like that. And I want you to know, and I'll just say this a little bit because it's not named too much, but my father has had a blood clot in the top of his leg for 20 years. He's been on Coumadin for 20 years. They said if it breaks off and it gets to his heart, it could kill him. And I want you to know he walked right in and got the Pfizer one and nobody said a word to him. So, yeah, that's a concern for me. My dad's 76 years old, And that they didn't ask him not one question. And the same pharmacy where he goes and gets his warfarin every month is the same one that gave him the jab. So nobody's asking anybody if there's any underlying conditions where they maybe shouldn't be taking this, or should, you know what I'm saying? Like the possible side effects, and you don't do this if you're pregnant. You don't do this if you have heart conditions. You don't do this. Nobody's asking that question.
No, it's like they're doing the opposite. From what I understand is, people go in and say, well, I have this wrong, and so I got to get it right. And they're like, yeah, you should get it. That's like, no, you shouldn't. You're compromised already. Why would you get it? Especially when there's other therapeutics that can help.
Yeah, it's
So you can recover from COVID if you get it using therapeutics, but you can't probably recover from the V if you get that. Although I will say they are talking about, they're starting to come out and talk about things that might help if you've trying to be careful. If you've been around somebody and you get sick after they've gotten the V and you're worried about that, they are starting to talk about it.
Well, here's this. This is being talked about too, which we all knew. Mild COVID induces lasting antibody protection. People have had mild illness develop antibody-producing cells that can last a lifetime. We all knew this is based on decades of science. When you get sick or blah, 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 your body's built up an immunity to it. What are they saying right now about the vaccine? Well, we think it could last you 6 months. Fauci's already coming out and saying you're going to need a booster next year. You know what's coming. I'm telling you, everybody knows what's coming. They're going to try and roll this out as another mandatory shot that everybody takes every year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what's it's going to be.
Well, our governor's like, they're calling him Carney. Carney Governor Waltz, because he's given out licenses and tickets and all sorts of great things that people can have if they get it. Like, why are you pushing it so hard?
Colorado's giving it. I looked at all these states that are giving away $50,000, $1 million raffles. Again, if your government is so highly motivated to make sure that they can incentivize you taking something that, again, is still in the experimental stage. It is. Anybody that tries to tell you it's not is lying to you. You can go look on their own websites and see this. Look it up. Anybody out there that listens that does not believe me, go look it up. And then you have all these people in all these different countries. And that's another thing. How many times do you think countries actually agree on any damn thing? It's when they went and signed that treaty for Antarctica, which is strange enough, has a whole nother conversation. And this one, that's alarming, to where now they're trying to bribe you and offer you money and all that other stuff. Just take it. Just take it. My precious son, my precious, no. And then, but what was it? I swear I had something the other day. Did I share it? I know. I thought I try to share things, and I'm sorry if I get on people's nerves that follow me on Twitter, and you're like, "Good Lord, did you just dump 40 tweets?" But the reason is because I try to think about it like today, and if I can go back and find it easier. But did you see that thing with Wendy Williams? Did any of y'all catch that?
I did not. Wendy Williams, no. She's that talk show host?
Yeah, and listen, I have my things about Wendy Williams, okay? I do. But this one, in this moment, I'm going to be like, heck yeah, for Wendy Williams. I guarantee you, this is not how Dr. Oz thought this was going to go.
Are you planning on getting your vaccine?
No.
No.
No. I don't trust it. I've never gotten the flu shot either, though, and you and I have talked about that, and several of the doctors on my team talked to me about, Wendy, we'll get the flu shot. I've never had the flu. I'm not getting a flu shot. I very rarely get a cold. I never have headaches. I don't take an aspirin because I feel my heart murmur or something like that. I'm not getting, no, I don't.
So they're going to take a sec. So he keeps pushing her, and then here in a second, he starts trying to like gaslight her. And guilt her into, well, all these people care what you think, Wendy. You influence a lot of people.
Trust it. There, I said it.
See, I don't trust it.
So let me go back to vaccines for a second, because what you say and believe is so important to a lot of people. I mean, millions and millions.
That's what you call gaslighting.
Millions of Americans are going to say, Wendy Williams didn't get a vaccine, so I don't want to get a vaccine. So let me just ask you, if there's anything.
They are prerequisite, that kind of whole question that's about to come with trying to influence her and what he wants her to say.
Oh, and we're
Now,
supposed to
you know,
follow the stars too.
Mm-hmm.
That could happen that would make you feel comfortable. 10 million people get vaccinated without a problem. Your neighbor gets vaccinated, a sibling, your son gets vaccinated, someone that's dear to you gets vaccinated and does well. That might make you think, you know, just to get past the hassle of having to lie on my back, recovering from COVID-19.
So did you hear what he said? See how he's gaslighting? This is the shit that makes me disgusted. Like, what would happen to change your mind? Maybe your son gets it, your parents get it, or whatever. Or maybe it's that you don't want to, you know, you don't want to lay on your back trying to recover, or worse yet, you know, your life be over because, you know, that is so dramatic and so full of shit.
Or maybe not recovering is not worth the risk, that I might actually consider this vaccine.
I'm not getting the vaccine. Listen, 10 million people and more have the flu vaccine, and how many people per year catch the flu? You know, no, I'm not getting the vaccine, Dr. Oz. I'm not.
I'm not. See,
I don't trust
the way it takes. I don't trust it.
And is there something in particular you don't trust about it? The fact that it was made quickly, the fact that we don't have enough follow-up. What specifically is bothering you about it?
And listen to what he just said. Right there gives her 2 outs. Too quickly, and we don't have enough follow-up. This guy's on this program. He used to talk out about this stuff. Now look at him. He looks like he might have been injected with a little, you know, goose juice. And then says, is it because we don't have enough data on it? You know what I mean? Well, look at them. They all look like they stepped right out of Star Trek and look like half data, like Zuckerberg did in his Senate hearing when it was like, I must sip water to look natural. Look at him. His hair looks even fake. I don't know. I'll finish this though.
Doctors are really smart people, but doctors don't know everything. And that's been proven as well. I'm not getting the vaccine. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't get the vaccine, everybody watching. I'm just saying I'm not getting the vaccine.
So are you?
I guarantee you that is not the way that he thought that was going to go. All
Good
those
for
celebrities
her.
supposed to get in line. Yeah, and again, you think what you want to about Wendy Williams. She's the one that did pass out looking like the Statue of Liberty, like she was on the goose juice too at some time. But maybe she broke away. Maybe she put the Kool-Aid down. I don't know.
I do
know what's
like
going on with
Mary
celebrities.
Magdalene 777 in chat, D-Live chat says, tell them to ask Eric Clapton what he thinks about the vaccine. He may never be able to play music again. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Well, it's like DMX. Nobody talked about that. And then what's the famous baseball player name? Oh my God.
I can't think of it either.
Hank Aaron, was that it? Hank Aaron. They never did an autopsy on him either. Or, you know, it's awful funny how these people, they hurry up and bury him or cremate him or whatever. You know, I don't know. Something is off, and everybody in this world, I'm not even going to say country, world, has a right to make decisions health-wise for themselves. And
Right.
nobody going to pressure us or should pressure us into making a decision that we don't want to make.
And why
I
should we listen to
tagline
a
all
talk
the
show
time.
host?
My body, my choice. Don't tell me that that's okay for women to choose when it comes to abortion, but it's not okay to choose when it comes with an experimental vaccine. Don't be a hypocrite.
And why are we listening to talk show hosts? Why would they know anything better than what we know? Why, you know what I mean? Like that whole thing, just these so-called.
They're literally controlled opposition. I totally agree. The whole of the mainstream media has an agenda, and it's the agenda of the people that own the mainstream media, and their agenda is you, and their agenda is to take your rights. And there's no ifs, buts. It's obvious.
It's all control. Apparently the January 6th probe was sank, and I just got something in my feed that says the Democrats' next plot What's their next plot? Let me read over this a little bit while y'all talk. What's the next plot? Using the filibuster to cover up the truth is a scandalous, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I don't want to hear a damn word until they decide to go down there and handle what's going on with the daggum border. And if nobody said a word to Biden when he shut down travel from India, but, I guess it wasn't racist when he did it, but that's all they said about Trump when he did it, even though it was Obama's list. And, right now what's going on in the education system and with Americans. But yeah, by the way, nobody is still worried about what's happening at the border. Nothing's changing at the border. We still got people flooding in at our border. If anybody was wondering, they're just walking across with a cartel, handing them off to Border Patrol, and the cartel's walking right back across the river to get some more. Yes, that's happening. So, Daddy, I'm just saying, you got $3,500. Show up at the Rio Grande.
Breaking is unusually quiet today. Breaking, what do you think about all this? Is Breaking frozen?
No, he's not frozen.
No, Breaking is hiding in the background. And do you want me to show? Evidently, someone has just sent me another video. There's nothing about it. It's supposed to be a funny one. I haven't looked all the way through it. Do you want me to show it? This is from yesterday.
You don't have to ask. Yeah, you don't have to ask.
I think this is from yesterday, right? Let's hope if it comes up on the screen. Now, I'm hoping the sound is okay.
If you think that this ends while you're sleeping, my friend, that's a moron. When you're driving along with your face not beyond, that's a moron. When you're scared of a cold and you're not really old, that's a moron. If you think it accidentally leaked from a lab down in Wuhan, the one with no door on. If you think that this ends while you're sleeping, my friends, that's a moron.
That's a moron.
That was good.
So we now know where the song come from. That's a moron.
Nice.
That's cool. Well, people I love these little catchy things. I like that's why I like Sideshow Bob and what he does with songs as well. If you'll remember his taking Biden to the old folks home. That song, he's done a couple of those where he plays words, a little bit of a word mashup with an oldie, makes it an original. Oh my God! Anything else you'll show? Did you have anything other clips you wanted to show, Daddy? What's going on over there? I think you said you had a couple or something.
Hang on, say that again because I missed that.
I said, didn't you say there was another video or something you wanted to share as well, or was that it?
So the main one is being uploaded as we speak. It's at 75% at the moment. So that's going up onto Rumble, and then I'll probably put links onto it only because it has actually got a little bit of soundtrack on there, and YouTube will kill it for that. And it's only Bob Marley, or say only Bob Marley, the great Bob Marley. At least he stuck up for people's rights. So there are other things. People are actually sending me various things as it's coming through now. Again, just going to give a shout out to everyone that did come up there. And there were lots of people. There were lots of people I know that went up there, including my own son, by the way, who couldn't find me. He said, "Are you going up there?" I said, "Yeah." And then he was going up there to see David Icke. And David Icke was in the crowd. There was people I spoke to who had spoken to him walking along. So all I'm saying to people is it's fairly obvious. Unless you stand in one place, you're not going to be able to find us as a group of people and what we're actually putting out there. But I will say this to people. There are two United Nations conventions that both been signed up to by the British that state categorically that the British should promote the English right to self-determination and should respect that right. They're doing neither. and that application is now being put in to the commission to show what they're doing and trying to take us down. So I want everyone to understand that. And if they make derogatory remarks about the English being far right just because we stand up for our flag and our nation, that is actually a human rights abuse. We have now got police officers recorded as saying that in evidence in a court of law, and we intend to pursue that, right? So we have actually got evidence now that the police officers are being told if people are standing there with an English flag trying to defend their nation and their rights, that they are far right. That is a human rights abuse. It's been signed up to. Sun Tzu tells you use your enemy's resources against them. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing, right? So we have the right as English men and women to stand up for our country. Tell them if anyone says anything to you about holding the English flag, calls you a racist or any other of them names, literally say to them, you are now committing a human rights abuse. End of. We have the right to self-determination as a nation and as a people. And self-determination is what stops people sticking a jab in you and saying, you must have this. The law says, if that person says, I don't want it, they don't have it. That's it. Even if their reasons are completely irrational, which ours are not, the law says it's their decision, not yours, and not the state's. So I want people to remember that. There is actually a medical rule and a medical law in common law that says that you have the right to self-determination. Over. Breaking, where are you, son?
Well, I was trying to find one of these videos that prayer you did when you were talking about it. It made me think about it, about how they use racism against people just to shut them down. There's so many on PragerU. It's probably gonna be hard for me to try and find it. There's a lot, but yeah, if y'all ever go look at PragerU, you should. Breaking. Look like idiots over in online on there going, breaking Spectre. Maybe his cat puked. I don't know.
Well, there's another one coming up.
Balls earlier.
Right, do you want to see this one? Just to let everyone, this is from Piger. He's one of the great followers that we've got out here, and he is a Christian and an Englishman, and I'm just going to show you the video that he made. This is his video, and as far as I know, his soundtrack.
Hope so.
I packed up with all my mates and headed out the laboratory gates. Then we knocked on every door, and soon we're joined by a million more. The Chinese state locked down Wuhan, but we escape any way we can. We can't be stopped, politicians say. We cross through Europe and the UK. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. You're on a lockdown like COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. The whole world stops from COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. You're on a lockdown like COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. The whole world stops from COVID-19. Stop the planes, the president said, while the WHO resisted the spread. As the press sharpened their knives, presidents saved a million lives. Nancy Pelosi, the deep state clown, said come and party in Chinatown. The world at war, the Chinese test, the New York people got hit worse. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. You're on a lockdown like COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. The whole world stops from COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. You're on a lockdown like COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. The whole world stops from COVID-19. I will save you, says Bill Gates, and he shady associates. Imagine the profits that he'll glean by rolling out his deadly vaccine. Social distancing's a plan to defeat the plague from Wuhan. Wear a mask while shopping too, and you can beat the kung flu. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. You're all locked down by COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. The whole world stops with COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. You're all locked down by COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. The whole world stops with COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. You're all locked down by COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. The whole world stops with COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean. You're all locked down by COVID-19. Don't go to work, stay home, stay clean.
And there you go, folks.
There you go. Let
There
me
you
just
go.
say that one down. So
Yeah.
hopefully everyone likes that. And then don't forget the mega team was out in force yesterday. Don't forget the mega hats in different colours, including pink, are on my website. Mega, make England great again. There it is on the side. The Constitution is the solution. And again, on the other side there, you've got the English flag. Right, there you go, people. So if I had been wearing this yesterday, I may not have such a pink face today.
Well, I'm going to take this time. It's about halfway through. I was trying to figure out when to show it, and thank God audio works. I sent this to you, Daddy. If you've not seen this, then you can watch it along with everybody else. Foxhole Peeled / Foxhole Now has a way for you to donate to channels. Method sent me this yesterday. So I'm going to show y'all guys how you do it, which is encouraging for channels because we've been demonetized so much on other platforms. You know, it's just a struggle. I mean, it is just a struggle. To ask for donations is awkward, but then to know that, you know, you after a year and a half, like I'll just speak for myself, after a year and a half, it's you're finding it harder to produce stuff than it is in the very beginning. That's a little strange, but I'm going to show you this, guys, and it's a pretty good video, and it kind of walks you through how you do it if you want to contribute to channels, including Daddy Dragon's on there as well, about how to buy these things and help contribute over at the Foxhole. So here we go. I mean, it's probably worth the whole watch. But listen to Daddy. Did you see this, Daddy, that I sent you?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so this is Foxhole. This guy's he's one of the contributors there, and he's gonna explain to you how you do it in Foxhole. Oh, let it buffer for a minute. Come on. Foxhole buffers for me for a while for some reason. I don't know when it's trying to load something. Come on. You should have been ready to roll. Where is it? Let me try it one more time. I don't want to lose it. Well, this is exciting. Come on.
Weird.
I watched it yesterday. I don't know what's going on. Well, how about I just let it circle over here on the left, and when it starts to, if it starts to queue up, I'll hurry up and fling it on. I'll try to show you guys kind of the gist of it.
Hello, and welcome to another glorious day here on Pill.net and Foxhole.
There we go.
What I want to talk to you about today is the gold pill system. I'm going to run through the entirety of it, how to buy it, how to give out gold pills, how to get gold pills, and also the sort of lotto pool scratch off situation that is at the end of a stream that a streamer will release. So let's dive in here. So you can see there's this guy here named Web Gorilla. I want to watch him. Okay, so looks like I have a zero balance here. So what do I want to do? Okay, let's just run through registration real quick here.
I think he stops to explain this, but what's important in this one is that you down here where it says referral username, like if you'll put the name of the channel, like if you put 5x5 in here, or like say you do Daddy Dragon, if you put like say it's method says it'll auto generate there, but if you'll do that for a channel, pick 5x5, not Daddy Dragon. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Then he said it'll boost your donations like by the 5%. And I asked who was 75% goes to the channel. And then so I guess 25% goes to Foxhole and Pilled so they can keep doing what they're doing, which is I understand. But if you put the referral down here in this box of the channel, then they'll get another extra 5% of whatever you donate. So there's that. I just want to say that really quickly because I tried to ask every question I could that I thought people would have. So he's registering now, and that's where you would do it. Like if you need to register, you would put the referral down here.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention. So there's this referral username upon registration. What this does, it will give a percentage of your of gold pills that. So let's say I'm Methods, okay, which obviously I'm not. I'm Web Gorilla. So if I were to say, hey. Hey Methods, I want you to join Pill.net, but use my referral and type that into the referral box. Me as the streamer, Web Gorilla, I will get a percentage of any of the gold pills that the referee gets. So if Methods gets, let's say 100 gold pills, I will get a percentage of those gold pills. I believe it's 5%. So I'd get 5 gold pills from his 100. So that's a great way to incentivize people to sign up with Pilled and Foxhole. So since I'm not going to be doing that, I'm just going to click register here. So you can see I'm logged in here as test account 500. I don't have any gold pills, but I really want to give out some gold pills today. How do I do this? Let's go buy some gold pills. Click on this. Okay. Don't want to go to pill.net, but on this other test account that I have, I'll just go to the shop here. So when you click this, it'll redirect you to this. Okay. So this looks beautiful. These are just containers.
So to me, he did that kind of fast. So I'm going to go to my Foxhole. So everybody that's out there in chat, this will take a second. There we go. So everybody, hello out there in my chat. This is what he's talking about up here. This is at the very top of your Foxhole where it says buy gold pills. This is what he's talking about. This is what you click on. And then it takes you, well, I'd have to say I'm the channel creator. So I'd probably have to take me to here and then just say buy gold pills, and this is where you choose. It's a lot like D Live, where it's 100 gold pills is $1.62, 300 is $3.71. So that should just tell you that 100 gold pills